Furthermore, Susan, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to learn that all 4 of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes. Reefers.
Turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Rotation. I am your host, Ben Jordan, along with my co-host, Vito Tomaselli. Hey. We are here on Spreaker.com for episode 12. We are officially past episode 11.
Are we, though?
We never have to go back.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. 4 times a charm, I guess.
Oh, man. So
let's just hope nothing happens tonight. I can't stand it. It blows the wind out of my sails.
Yes, because we do have a huge lineup tonight. Lots of folks calling in. Many of our friends out there in the wrestling world know a good friend of ours, Marvin, a.k.a. Brain Damage, passed away this last week. And so we dedicate this show to him. We're going to be talking to a lot of guys that were close with him, sharing road stories, sharing the fun times. This isn't going to be something where it's going to be somber and down. We're going to celebrate the life of our good friend. I'll just start it off by saying, man, there were very few guys more humble and genuinely nice that I've come across in the wrestling business than Brain Damage. He was
and from what you see him in the ring being to what he is, backstage is three different people.
Right.
It's not even close to what it could be.
We talk about it all the time with these deathmatch guys. What the image and what they really are really always two different things.
Sure. And you mentioned the word humble. I think that's probably one of the best words to describe him as. I just remember after we worked with him and Deranged. Sorry, man. I'm one of them days already. And Vogel, the Display of Power, their tag team name. I just remember them both coming up to us afterwards and being like, thanks for, wanting to work. Because we wanted to work with those guys.
Right.
We were, the Tomasellis in general, we were like the cross between the wrestlers and the deathmatch guys in the IWA locker room. Mm-hmm. And it started kind of with our feud with those guys in front of the fans. Before that, it was obviously behind the scenes smoking blunts with everybody.
Right.
But that was like the first time we really stepped over. And they thanked us because then other guys wanted to work with them. The other,
sure,
making it up. The Josh Abercrombies of the locker room. The low keys would work with those guys, And I remember them just being real thankful for that. And we had good matches with them because everyone believed everything was so real.
Yeah, that's the one thing you believed about with Marvin is that everything he did, he had that aura that very few have. Necro Butcher has it. That where people believe Bullpain, where people believe when they see him that he is a fucking Terminator.
And is there a better guy that bleeds? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, you go back and YouTube now is filled with different videos of him, but one of my favorites is IWA East Coast, him and Necro Butcher blasting each other over and over again. I mean, all punch-outs that are done since that one are pussy compared to that one. Yeah. Those two guys literally went out there and decided, we're going to show everybody how to do this sit-down bullshit. And they sat down and just... he was madly entertaining, and we're going to talk to a bunch of different guys that have all different stories of just what a great guy he was.
Sure.
And obviously, he was troubled had some issues, and finally decided to make the ultimate decision, I guess, as it is, right?
Yeah, wow. It's crazy. We've all kind of had people in our lives make silly mistakes and decisions, but none of us have ever been in that situation. You can sit there and say why this or why that, but think about what it would actually take to take your own life. I mean, to sit there and go, all right, this is it. I'm doing it. Because it had to have gone through his head 5 million times prior. It wasn't like he was a Fortune 500 businessman that got caught with his hands
and
in
the
a
shit was
cookie
about
jar.
to go down. Right.
That's different.
Right.
That's oh shit. I just want.
I got to get out of here.
Right. When you're just when you're a guy that was as tied up as he was tied up, and the shit he was going on with. It had to be a very dark time. It had to be a very, very cold, dark time. For
they
him.
say with the person that commits suicide, the first day that they think about themselves is the day that they do it.
I can see that.
The thing that keeps them from doing it is thinking about everyone else around them. And then finally they wake up and they decide, you know what? I'm done thinking about everyone else. I'm going to make me happy.
Sure.
And they make that decision. So we'll talk about it later, but we want to get into it. We always start off with the green hit. I know you've got something in mind, right? It's been a week.
I do actually. Four Locos. We're drinking them tonight.
Yes, mine tastes like cough medicine. I don't like it.
The red's a little hard. What I like to do with the red is mix it with vodka. What it does, it tones down a little bit, and then you add like a Sprite to it.
It needs some bubbly. It needs some more bubbly.
If you add those two elements, or like a tonic,
because it's really like cough syrup.
You cut it a little bit.
Yeah.
The orange is a little less, but yeah, they're a little syrupy. I'll tell a little story about Four Loko. When Four Loko first came out, there was caffeine added to them as well. Mm-hmm. So they were liquor, fruit drink,
energy,
caffeine,
right.
Energy drink. And then the government came down on them. I believe it was the alcohol industry in a whole came down on them because it was taking away from a lot of different other types of alcohol, because this is kind of your mix with energy added to it. So it's, downer and uppers. You know what I mean? That's
right.
So yeah, the government came after them, so they had to take out the caffeine.
Of course.
So
for people's health.
So I do want people to know that they're still around. They do exist. We did a party at my restaurant, and that's why I have these. Because I think I brought 2 cases, but we only served 1. The other one ended up in my car.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, so that's why they're here. And let's put it out there. People are like, I can't believe I thought these things were eliminated. Aren't these multiple people throughout the night? Aren't these illegal? Aren't these dangerous?
Yes.
And I instantly asked them. I said, "Why would you think that?" Well, that's what I heard. Well, what did you hear? I don't know.
Yeah. See, talk about bad PR.
No, but that's what the mainstream media / TV does.
That's the game of telephone that goes on in life. People say, oh, yeah, that Four Loko thing, dangerous.
Dangerous. It only has 8% alcohol.
It'll make your heart explode.
Right. Like vodka is 90 proof. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you're having a mixed drink, it's
right.
like 100 of these. It's nowhere near what this is.
Yeah.
So,
I remember when they first came out, people were like, man, you drink 2 or 3 of those and I feel like your heart's going to explode. So there was something to that energy drink alcohol thing that didn't.
Okay, but have you ever had Red Bull and vodka?
I love it. It's one of my favorite drinks.
Yeah, and that's way stronger than what was in this. Did your heart ever go to explode, or were people propagandizing it, the whole thing, to make off like, oh my God, it was the greatest shit I've ever had in my life?
Right.
Because I've had my heart jump out of my chest before. I'll tell you, it hasn't happened on these. Okay?
No, yeah.
It takes $25 little blue pills to get your fucking heart to jump out of your chest. Trust me.
Yes.
So,
yes, absolutely.
But no, that's purely speculation at this point.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't want to hear that some energy drink made your heart jump out of your chest. Right. That's just you being cool. Right? And you're not.
Calm down.
Calm down. It's 8% alcohol with some caffeine
I'm
in
so
it.
fucked up, dude.
No, you're not. No, when you're sitting up against your buddy's garage, right, in the middle of a field, and your heart's in the street, then get back to me on that.
Right. I've been there.
Yeah, been there, done that. I believe it was in June.
There you go. Well, on the repack, I'll break down for you what I would have to say is in the top 3 worst weeks of my entire life. A week ago.
Wait, before you get to that story, what were the other 2? You don't have to tell me about them, but just bullet point them.
I don't even know off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Just saying, because I can't remember it at this point. I'm just going to say it's top 3.
Sure.
This may very well be the worst, but
okay.
I don't know. People passing away, things like that.
Sure.
This one is
your PlayStation getting stolen.
Yes. So a week ago Thursday, I have to preface the story by yes, I'm dumb, and I brought this upon myself, and I take full responsibility for it. But I didn't lock my apartment when I left for work last Thursday.
Okay.
I didn't lock my door routinely. Again, stupid on my part, but I just didn't think that it was going to be an issue. I didn't think my neighbors. I didn't think anything of my neighbors. They were cool. I talked to them all the time. It just didn't seem like it was going to be an issue. Thursday, I come home from work. It's about almost 9 o'clock at night. I walk in. I get my food ready. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch some TV. And I turn on the TV, and right now I only have one HDMI cable, and I was swapping it back and forth between my satellite dish and the PlayStation. And it happened to be on the PlayStation on the PlayStation thing, so I knew I needed to go behind and swap it back out. As I'm walking to go do that, I noticed there's a pile of DVDs on the floor. I didn't leave those DVDs there. What the fuck's going on? I look over, my PlayStation is gone. My heart sinks. Dude, I have lost so many hours of my life to that PlayStation. I love that thing like it was my child.
And what people don't realize, you store my child. AJ Styles is my child. Fucking Ninja Bill.
Yeah, so my heart immediately goes, fuck, someone took my PlayStation. And now I'm in like, all right, now what else is missing? Because my 55-inch TV is still there. That's why it was so weird. And my DVDs were still there. So I'm looking around, and I have a cabinet that my TV sits on. The PlayStation sits in an open space underneath, and then there's like a pull-out, 2 swinging doors and like a storage area underneath. In the storage area, I have a bunch of baseball and basketball cards that I bought a couple of years ago, and the good ones I put in hard cases to make sure that they stayed good. All of them are gone. Then I'm looking around, and I don't have drawers thrown open. You know, I had some stuff in some drawers where if they had found it, they should have taken it, but they didn't. But then I go in my room, and in my room, nothing is touched, but I had a dime bag of shit weed, rolled up next to the light on my nightstand, just for a rainy day in case, I ran out of shit, right? That's gone. That's the only thing.
And where was that? That was out.
That was out. It was on my nightstand next to my bed. That was the only thing touched in my room.
Motherfuckers.
So now I'm like, okay, this is clearly either a young kid who just stole the shit that he could pawn easily, or a crackhead that is looking to pawn the shit that they could pawn easily. Because basketball and baseball cards, they could go to any card shop and no one will think twice about buying them off of them. They could go to fucking GameStop and sell my PlayStation for $100.
No big deal.
Yeah, no one's gonna, and they don't ask questions at GameStop. They're okay, yeah, here's your $100. Here's sign here.
Right.
So then then I found like 2 days later, I'm like still finding shit that's missing, and I found I had a cup that I threw my change in. I have like an area where I throw my keys.
Like McDonald's size esque cup or something.
Right. Yeah, it was actually a small plastic cup, and I was just throwing my extra change in there. It was probably $25-$30 in there.
Vegas money.
Yeah, they took that. So at first, I'm just angry. I'm angry, like, God damn it, my fucking PlayStation. So pissed off. And then it hits me as I'm going to sleep that night. I'm laying in bed, and I think to myself, I get this creep feeling over me, like this uncomfortableness of like, oh my God, someone that I don't know who was walking around my house, just looking through my shit, stealing my stuff.
That's the worst.
It's just, I've never had that feeling before in my entire life. I've never been robbed before.
Sure.
So this was a whole new experience for me of like unsettled, like, ugh. Mm-hmm. So then the weekend comes, whatever. I didn't do very well gambling on football this weekend. That's a story into itself.
Sure.
Then yesterday, I'm coming home from work. Now, it takes me 40 minutes to get home from work. It's all expressway. Woo! Yeah, I can burn. I can listen to
nighttime,
Stern.
too. You're jamming home.
Jamming home. There's never any traffic on 94 headed south. Suddenly, I'm on my way home last night at 8 o'clock. I left work at 8 o'clock, 8:03 on my clock. I remember looking at it and seeing what time I left. 8:03 I left my house, left work. Because some dickhead decided to land his fucking plane on the expressway. It took me 3.5 hours to get home. A 40 fucking minute drive.
Imagine those people that got stranded on Lake Michigan last year on Michigan Avenue for 24 hours, and they couldn't. Remember, the snow fell too fast.
Right.
And they couldn't.
And they just got to bail out of their cars. Yeah, I get that, but at least they bail. They didn't have to sit in their cars.
They sat in their cars.
Some people?
Multiple people. I knew like 5 people that were in different cars that were stranded. Dude,
I can't believe I would get out and just be like, all right, fuck this.
But where are you going to go?
If you're on Lakeshore Drive.